We're going to talk about reloading for the 6.5 Grendel in the AR-15 platform. It's another cartridge that when it first came out was hot and everybody was carrying on about it. It's quite a few years ago, like 4 or 5. I built an AR platform with it. I'll have another video put on before this just looking at the rifle. And what it was to give you an AR platform with a cartridge that would go out to, say, you could use for sniping. Good accuracy out to, I think, 700 yards, 700 or 800 yards or something. Not quite to replace like a 308 Winchester or something along that line, a larger cartridge, but to give some reach to the AR platform. And I don't know if this has fallen by the wayside. I know that these still make ammunition for it, and you can still find barrels and build yourself one if you like. So it's kind of like the 6.8. They were really popular and a topic when they came out, and then something else comes along and everyone forgets about them, okay? But they're not bad cartridges. I didn't do a video of showing me to reload it, and one thing I'd have you know also, the 6.5 Grendel chamber and barrels were by the guy that designed it. He did something where he had exclusive rights to manufacture these barrels or something. There's some issue there, and I remember it goes back a few years. So actually the rifle I have has what is called a 6.5 Les Baer custom. Les Baer, the guy that makes custom 45 pistols. Well, somehow he went and changed some of the diameters or dimensions, and it's a different cartridge, but the difference is so slight, who knows. And the RCBS dies I have say on there 6.5 LBC, and the barrel has a marking also, okay, and it's a painted on marking, not engraved. So when you look at the gun, we'll go over that. But all I know is that's what I have, and that's what I've been using, and these are the results I get. Now, when I went and did the research on a load, because of course all these new cartridges, there's no load data, there's no nothing, it's a lot of stuff's coming off of forums, and some people that, kind of are into wildcatting and know how to develop and go about it. So what I ended up with to start with, I'll go over and get it here in a second, okay, is the 123 grain AMAX. Now, 123, and Hornady makes a 120 grain bullet. Some people prefer the 120 grain. Why the 123 grain, I don't know, but a lot of the ammunition that you find made for the 6.5 Grendel for some reason uses this 123 grain bullet. You can load different bullet weights and you will find some load data. I don't think you'd want to go on an AR platform any heavier than this, okay, because of the length. See, this is the thing. And another strange thing about this cartridge is that bullet sits down inside that little case with good depth. So this is where this other end comes in. Now the powder everyone raved about was this 8208, okay, some sort of bench rest powder or something. IMR makes it. Everyone said this was the stuff to use, but here's the key. When you go up and start getting towards the maximum load, which is going to take you in again to that 51,000 psi level, okay, when you go to the max with this load, you're compressing the powder. What do I mean by that? You're filling the case up so much that when you seat the bullet to depth, it's going to crush down and compress the powder. Okay, so you're in a different kind of zone here. Black powder you compress, okay, but that's a whole other different thing. Compression is part of reloading a black powder cartridge. There are loads historically, and you'll find them in the load manual, where it tells you that you are compressing the charge, compressed load. There'll be a notation. And what this is you're filling the case up with so much powder that when you seek the bullet to depth, be it anything, a handgun or rifle, you're going to be compressing down the powder. Now this does have an effect, I believe. I kind of avoided that, but you kind of can't with the 6.5. Okay, so we'll look at our chronograph results and we'll see. And now this one, compared to the 6.8, I did have trouble cycling the gun. You'll see that in the range footage on the low end, or the start load. Didn't cycle. The second one cycled better, but when it didn't cycle, it damaged a lot of brass beyond repair. I mean, tore it up. So it's a tough call. You know, you got to follow the protocol and start at the bottom and work your way up. And I stopped 1 grain from the max, because they warn you, anybody who's loaded this warns you, that after a certain point, increase the powder charge in 0.2 of a grain while approaching the maximum load. And I think the chronograph results, when we go over it and look at the targets, will show you why you want to do that. Okay, 2 reasons. One, you're compressing the powder charge and you're coming to the upper limits of what's specified for the cartridge. Okay. Well, we'll go show the range time, and then we'll take a look at what targets and chronograph results. Since we're in AR-15 or AR mode with building LR-308s, working on the AR-15s, 80% receivers and that, I brought out my build I had in the 6.5 Grendel. Now, a few years ago, this was a hot item. Everybody was working with it. And like the 6.8 SPC, it kind of dropped off to the wayside when the 6.5 Creedmoor came. Okay, that was the hottest thing. But in an AR platform, this is still an interesting cartridge. I haven't done a lot of work with it, but I'm getting to where, since I was there and on the loading bench, I bought the powder and that for this a while back. And the tricky thing with this is getting a good powder, you're compressing the charge. So you're kind of pushing the case to the limit. And you're getting close to some high pressures. So what I did is I have enough room. I'm going to do a little bit of a baseline before I get up to the max. And I'm just going to get my start today here. Get my feet wet. See, failed to eject. This is a problem that I had with the other load I was trying. Doesn't have enough punch to cycle the action. Close, not enough. It may have done it. I think it did. Yeah, see? This is what I was talking about. Yeah. Yeah, and that's when it's not doing that, you're losing brass too, so it's all part of the game. Alright, now I'm going to go run my next batch and see if it gets any better. Okay, this cartridge is a little bit more finicky to reload for. I'm noticing this thing is way more accurate than the 6.8, but as you've seen with the first string, we had the problems of the failure to feed. Well, when I went up a half a grain, that kind of went away. It was coming out, but I had no problems. All 5 rounds fed. This is the 4th string, and I'm not approaching the max because the type of powder using, you're actually, when you seat the bullet, you're compressing the powder. So this cartridge is a little bit more finicky. Like I said, I did a max load of another powder. It was accurate, the same bullet, but it wouldn't cycle the action. So you got to be particular with your powder combination and that. And like I said, this one's a little bit more problematic, which I think that's why it kind of fell out of favor. Anytime there's any difficulty, you got to go out of your way. People kind of don't like that. So let's see how we go. Kind of don't know what that was. Alright, I'll grab that odd one, see if it goes up. I don't know what happened there. But it looks like my trigger pin's walking. Sometimes these Anderson receivers, you'll get a trigger pin walk. So I may have to, I'll just go and put anti-walk pins in it. Problem's gone. Okay, now I'm down to my last string for the day. This is kind of working out okay. I don't know what that last malfunction was, but I'll take note of it. So I'm going to wrap it up and see if we can get through this last string, and of course it's all going up half grain at a time. Got a dupe. So getting up towards the max, starting to change. So a little bit more experimentation as we go. Okay, here we start with our bottom load. Okay, this is the one didn't cycle, and not too bad. And we're kicking that bullet out at an average of 2,293 feet per second. Now when we went up half grain higher, as you see, that's about a 1-inch group. That's 1 inch square, so they're all almost in there. Okay, I got a standard deviation of 9, and on this first one it was 16, so you know, half grain immediately we got better, and the average velocity was 2,344 feet per second. this did cycle. Okay, I had no trouble, only the first one had trouble cycling. Okay, next up, the standard deviation was even lower, it's 5. Okay, the velocity, the average velocity is 2384. So not much of a jump in velocity, 2344 to 2384. But we got wider spread. Okay, and we did have 2 of them duplicate velocity out of 5. All right. Now I went up to 1 grain from the maximum charge. Now the strange thing is the group kind of opened up a little, or maybe that flyer was me, you know, I don't know, it could be me. But chronograph results on this, and this is the weirdest one. Standard deviation was 9, but I had 3 of these at 2,411, which also was average velocity. It's the first time I had 3 out of 5 cartridges with an identical velocity. But the group isn't that fantastic, actually one of the other ones. So I still got a grain of powder to go to the maximum. Now I may go in 2/10 of a grain increments just to see, because I think I'm getting close to where I'm compressing the powder, and that's why I got 3 of them. Something is way more consistent. The only thing I can think of is I'm starting to squeeze the powder down with this load, because it does just about fill the case up. All right, so there's a couple factors there. We'll discuss that. Okay, this cartridge, I think, like I said, as I seen from the data, I didn't quite reach the limit. So I don't know if that powder compression has something to do. So this cartridge probably, be aware, if you change the brass, because even though it's the same size brass and will fit in the gun, there's variances from different manufacturers. Like Winchester will be one, and that's why a lot of guys that are really into hand loading, they tell you how much the case capacity is in terms of water or something like that, because it can vary. And when you're getting to where you're stuffing that case full of powder to where the bullet's squeezing down and compressing it, that can be a factor. So if you develop, say, a load with Winchester brass, but then you go with Remington or Hornady brass, and the internal specifications are different, this could radically change your results. So this is a little bit of a tricky one. That's why everybody's nervous about this. So I'd advise you to stick with the same brand of brass. Okay, don't mix it up, especially if you're getting up there, because now I'm going to take this and I'm going to go up, like I said, maybe I'll make another run and go up in 2/10 increments that other grain, which would be about 5 more strings. 4 or 5 more strings, just to see what happens. But that is the first time I had 3 out of 5 shots, the same velocity. Okay, in all the testing I've done, maybe I have on one other time, but that is unusual. You know, we're going to see if we go up, maybe we can get 4 or 5 for 5. You know, I don't know. But that's the ins and outs of using this powder. Of course, you use a different powder, something else, it might not be the same. See, this is where you got to experiment, pay attention, you know, use common sense and safe rules. The only good thing is I found a load for this stuff with the 6.8. And again, it's taking it to the max, and it is a compressed powder charge. So I may do a run with this in the 6.8 and see if I can get better results. So that's it for now, and I'll keep you updated on my progress in this area.